Hey, good evening, and thanks for joining us. And welcome to another episode of The Odd Couple. I'm Arjun.
I'm Siddharth.
I'm Dr. Shish.
Yeah, for a second I forgot my name.
It's been so long.
It's been a while.
Well, Dr. Sheesh had to wait for a second as well.
Yeah, I was waiting for Sid. That's why.
So great. So we're back for another podcast with us, with the Odd Couple. And today we are trying to figure out what do we do when things go alles kaputt, as the Germans would say. When everything kind of fails, the government fails, the facilities fail, your basic infrastructure fails, the whole support system fails. Yes, we saw a sneak peek of it during this pandemic of the coronavirus that we experience or we are experiencing. And we were all so very scared, even though the death rate is around 2 to 5% on an average. Now, what if it was 50%, 40%, or even double this? It would have been absolute mayhem. So, are you a doomsday prepper? Are you or are you not?
I don't know. I'll answer that question by taking the audience back a few years when I first talked about this with Sid. I remember for the first time, I think Sid was meeting my wife for the first time and we were having a couple of drinks. And then out of nowhere, we had the conversation about doomsday. And I was telling Sid and my wife that my dream is to do a bunker and bunker down.
Right.
And if something goes wrong, and my wife was tripping on me so badly. And, as Sid as usual will play along with all my stupid whimsical stuff, and say, okay, so he was like skeptical about doing one. Can you do one kind of thing? But my wife was like, you're just plain dumb for thinking about this, the world's not going to come to an end and you're never going to need a bunker. But I'm saying the preppers are laughing at us when COVID hit, because
True.
there was a moment when we went into that grocery store and everything was off the shelf. And I just looked at my wife at that moment and said, this is why we needed that bunker.
I told you so.
I told you so. So that's the one thing I ever want.
Yeah, I also felt a strange case of vindication watching this shit show go down because I always had a sneaking suspicion we're going to be screwed somehow or the other. But that said, so how has it changed your point of view in terms of priorities? Are you thinking about a next one? Are you now vindicated enough to start prepping?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's the next conversation which I think got me and Sidhu talking about let's do this on the show. Why? Because I started telling Sidhu, you know what I've done? I've got a bug out bag. So Sidhu was like, okay, what you got in your bug out bag?
Okay, so let's talk about bug out bag. So Arjun, as you said, you had a bug out bag. Ashish says he has one. And yes, I do too. What top 10 things that you had in your bug out bag? So we could probably exchange notes on that.
We'll go with Ashish first. I'm sure it'll be a better prepped bug out bag.
Sadly, no. And I was like ripped apart by Sidhu for my bug out bag because first of all, my bug out bag is a briefcase.
His bug out bag was an aristocrat briefcase of his dad's. The old representative, medical representative.
So, my idea was if shit hits the fan, all my certificates are in my briefcase. I've got some dollars in that briefcase. And, jewelry is also in another briefcase. So I was like, all we have to do is pick this main one which has all the certificates and the cash in it because everything else is replaceable. And take the jewelry if you can. That's about it. But then what Sidhu said was, which made so much sense, if you're going to carry Sarah, that's my daughter, are you going to be holding a briefcase in your hand and running the whole time? Yeah, so I've not thought about it through and through. All I was thinking about is what it's in there. But first of all, you got to think about, do you have a good bug out bag? And that's when Sidhu explained to me what a bug out bag should be like. And, you should be able to carry it on, with you and take it into scenarios where it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, it's just it should be a backpack is a better option than a suitcase.
Exactly.
Basically.
Dude, waterproof backpack. I also by then had bought the SAS Handbook of Survival, which fits into the bug out bag and the book is waterproof.
Oh, yeah?
It's a little handbook. And it tells you how to skin a rabbit and build a shelter.
Oh, Arjun, if you don't find a rabbit, you're going to starve in India.
No, I need a rabbit. This
So
won't work.
what do we
Damn
need
it.
in a
Exactly.
bag?
But yeah, those SAS survival book, which is actually must be available on Amazon and Flipkart, waterproof. I think that's a great idea to have it on a in a bug out bag.
So I'm assuming like it's okay, it's enough for us to have like a bug out bag. Like, assuming that there's something like there is a riot going on
Yes.
outside, you need to leave your city, but that's fine for a local problem. Like, okay, there's an earthquake here, there's a tsunami here, there's a riot. But what if it is global level, doomsday level? Obviously, once food is going to be a problem or water is going to be a problem, a bug out bag is not going to be enough, right? You're going to need much more than that.
Yes, bug out bag is your first line of not defense or first line of being prepared. So a bug out bag essentially would have your basics like, as Ashish mentioned, your cash, your jewelries, anything that you can barter or trade with, or it has some values which you can use it as a currency at a case of eventuality. Second thing is obviously your first aid kit, your a change of clothes, socks, shoes, keep your feet dry, all those basics, medicines. Even contact numbers or any kind of a handbook, as Arjun rightly pointed out, to quick energy bars or quick snacks like dates and
Yeah, so
almonds and stuff.
basically, a bug out bag will last for how long? For 3 days, 5 days at the most?
It's basically planned for a quick 2 to 3 days kind of a thing. It's not counted in days because these are basically going to help you get from point A where there's an issue and it needs to take you to point B. End of story. Point B is a more secure location. It could be your friend's house, it might be in another city, another town, or just away from the whole thing. So from my perspective, there's a bug out bag for myself. There's a bug out bag for my wife. If I had a car, actually, I was planning to keep two bug out bags separately in the car itself. So all I need to do is just take the car, get out. So you need to have not just single bug out bag, but multiple of them, ideally.
So my understanding now from this is that we got point one bug out bag. The next destination is either your bunker or your safe house or whatever. But you rightly mentioned in between we should be having these stash points. Now, assuming now I was reading about this one prepper dude. Okay, so what his idea was, within 200 kilometers from his house, he identifies these safe spots. So, now assuming now you take the left and you go down and you can't cross that road because everybody's trying to get out of that place. So you got to go right. So what he's done is he's actually planned out different escape routes from his house once he's made his dugout back and he's escaping. Now 200-kilometer radius, he's trying to find a safe
Superb.
spot. But what he does also is he creates these small stashes, right? Which he uses these big PVC pipes and he seals them. And since it's plastic, you can't detect it with a metal detector also. And so he goes into these stash points, and on the way to these 200 points which is located somewhere common to these things, he creates these stash points and digs it and hides it there, so that on the way he has this access to this to get him to that next spot, because a bugger bag will probably keep him alive for 3 to 5 days at the most, to carrying food or whatever.
That's smart. That's a smart thing to do. But I'm not sure how much you can do it in a place like India, where you have every Tom, Dick, and
Our
Harry
Innapatra, what is
every
he doing?
200 meters, and the density of population is ridiculous.
So coming down to this thing, okay, we talked about a little bit about the bunker bag, and you explained what needs to be in the bunker bag. Let's go into these bunkers. What about bunkers? Is it a possibility for us to do a bunker in India? Because you were kind of ripping me off that day, talking to me about the sewage, the water, electricity. Yeah, is it possible for us to do something like? I'm not even going to go into the weapons section because we have no access to it. Like, you see these American prepper walls, they're stacked with weapons, man. And trust me, you need it at that time if you're trying to survive. There are a lot of people who are going to try and freeload off you. So yeah, forget it, the weapons itself. What about the bunker?
Is anything doable? Of course it is. Now, the question is, do you have the resources to do it? And how expensive is going to turn out to be? If you actually try and mitigate every single eventuality of basic survival. When I'm saying these bunkers, I'm talking about surviving for a year, if not more, right? I'm not saying surviving for 2, 3 days. We're not talking about a basement. I'm talking about a completely enclosed, secure, self reliant bunker, which you and your family. So, if there's a nuclear holocaust, in case there's a nuclear winter setting in, or there is dime a dozen thing, let's say an asteroid hits somewhere in the whole. I mean, there are a
Just
lot
running
of
out of water,
doomsday
man. Just
scenarios.
imagine we run out of food and water. Agriculture doesn't work.
Yeah, so simple things like water or basic sanitation, right? Your plumbing, because what goes in has to come out. Yes, food you can store, you can have the whole Netflix downloaded and entertain yourself. There's a lot of things that you can do, but a lot of things which are critical, which is your food, your water, and your plumbing. Now, that is where it gets really tricky. And obviously, yes, hello, I think we forgot the
Yeah,
most important thing: air, fresh
getting down there.
air
Yeah,
or breathable air. So you need your CO2 scrubbers, you need a fresh source of things. So you're pretty much building yourself a
yeah.
submarine of sorts, I
And
would
that's
say.
expensive, man. So though nowadays, if you just take a sewage system, now someone might say, why don't you just dig a pit and then put a seat on top of it like the old days? But way down over there, you can't keep building up using just a pit.
Definitely not, because your waste generate a lot of harmful gases like methane, and in a closed space, it is you'll accessate and die.
Yeah, so then you got to have a good air filtration system to get that thing out, right? So it's expensive. I would think, considering the fact of what we said, that it's expensive to do a full on thing. Now, somebody like me or you, I don't think I can afford to do a full on bunker thing. For
I'm
me, it would have
definitely
just
not.
been nice.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back one step. Ashish, are you a doomsday prepper?
Yeah,
Okay, Arjun.
I think I have always been a doomsday prepper in the sense of having zero liability that will make my world come crashing down. But as far as having the physical infrastructure, no.
even if you had the resources, you wouldn't go and do it. Open to the fact doomsday is possible.
I have been drawing my thing since I was a kid. I grew up on ships and I know to sail. So my life investment at some point is always going to be 100+ footer sailboat, Kevin Costner, Waterworld types, and just have everything
It's a good
sorted in
That
idea.
that.
works.
I used to draw designs. I used to draw designs all the time of how a sailboat would work. And even if diesel runs out, it's wind power and solar panels, fixable thing, how to grow the waste. Full Waterworld scene. Waterworld scene, dude. Waterworld scene.
Uh, I am I am honestly not. I think I'm a little too lazy for it. Primary, that's a reason. Secondly, I think people who prep, like Arjun said, is obviously people who have a lot of responsibilities and people who a lot of people depend on. So worried you're responsible for other people. I'm honestly not. And secondly, I'm really not scared of death. So if it is going to be an asteroid coming and going to hit me or a nuclear holocaust, I'm like, let's get done with this shit. I don't want to stay here any longer and be surrounded by idiots or lesser number of idiots. That is my personal view. Though I am somebody who would be prepared for an eventuality, but I may not go the whole hog. Even if I have the resources, I'll probably just be lazy and I'm like, hey Ashish, I'm coming to you.
That's the next
Okay.
one. That's why I said we need weapons. We need to protect ourselves because there'll be a lot of freeloaders. Nobody wants to prep. So I'm like the ant. I'd rather be
Exactly.
prepared for some eventuality, and then beyond that, whatever happens, happens. But I like to take some amount preparation for any eventuality. Coming to that point, which you were saying, like it's not doable. Yeah, I don't think it's really possible for me to do one in India the way we watch it, like how these multi-millionaire guys build it like a huge pad underground. I don't think that's possible, but I would like to think that maybe probably do it 50-50, which is like, have a safe spot, safe house, and try and protect that safe house. Probably next to, what is it, a water body. Have like a basement or what is it, a small room which is enclosed. So if there is an intruder, you can fall back into and then lock yourself into for some period of time. But I don't think it's possible to do
Right.
all the time in a bunker type of situation with our resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think unless you have, I would say it'll cost you, at least the way I want to do it, couple of crores
Yeah.
of Indian rupees. And at the same time, you need the kind of land, negotiate the red tape because to even dig a hole in your own property, you need some
Exactly.
hundred approvals in India. Or you need to grease a lot of people and getting electric connection. Hello. That is, I mean, electricity and powering that place.
You have to go solar, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And with that, we'll just take a small break and we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. And welcome back to The Odd Couple. We are chatting on the doomsday scenario. Are you a prepper or not? If so, what you should do.
Okay, but there's this one lady, okay, who's a prepper basically, but she calls it a working prep. Okay, the idea is that like if we run out of food or some kind of stuff like that, and you're preparing yourself for that. So what she does is she has a 6 months to 1 year supply of food, which she's continuously using. So she has a garden and
Right.
a canning center, a canning spot. So she gardens her stuff, takes that stuff, cans that stuff, dehydrates it, cans it, and puts it in
That's
her
pretty
pantry.
cool. So she's basically organized her lifestyle around this to see if it's sustainable.
She has a 1 year supply and it's working. So and it's not really like that super idea of thing, but it's being prepared. It's in a certain way, you got some stock of food if there is some type of scenario. I think it's realistic.
Yeah, and also you think even in terms of being stressed mentally during the event, in case of the event, you're better prepped because your lifestyle has been that, no, all this
Yeah,
time.
I think a lot of
Easier
preppers,
to
real
adapt.
preppers, have really organized their life around it. For them it's basics. For them it's basic. It's food, water, weapons, and whatever the other factors.
It's a lifestyle. It is not a eventuality. For us, it's just a topic for a podcast. For them, it is their life. Because one of the most important things of being a prepper, prepared for an eventuality, an angle which is often not discussed a lot, is to be physically fit. I need to prep my body too. So in case I need to have my bug out bag and let's say run for 10 kilometers, let's say my car gave up and I need to trek 40 kilometers, whatever it is. You need to be in the top physical condition, like how you are, Arjun.
No, honestly speaking, this whole, the entire fitness thing, and I swear to you, for me, it's got nothing to do with anything cosmetic, okay? It is always just to be able to run. Coming back to that point, I'm saying all my prep subconsciously has been to always be able to react quickly, swiftly, and strongly. To have the ability to do that in case of an emergency,
I
to
think
just be
you're.
physically able to
I
do
think you're
that.
narrowing it down to just the physicality. I think the most important thing is your. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that that was a good point, but I feel it's more mental. Why I'm saying that is because the very idea that you're a prepper means you want to survive. So if you're going to survive, you're not going to survive in that bunker forever. At one point of time, you're going to have to come out of that bunker and restart everything. So the first basic thing, any prepper, like what we were saying, you have to live it. You need to come out, you need to start agriculture all over again. You need to start purifying your water. So these are all basic skills which you have to learn before, not after you come out of the bunker. Because once you come out of the bunker, after you run out of everything, you're doomed.
Oh no, I need to repopulate the earth.
Yes, you have to do that
That's one
too.
skill set. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
part of it. So my thing is, it's more mental for these guys. That's why these preppers are really like they live the lifestyle. It's not that chumma like me and you we just talk about it on a podcast and say okay I can't afford it, fuck it, let's leave
True.
it. These guys really live that lifestyle. They do their own agriculture. They're taking water from their well and using that water, purifying it and then using it. So they do all that kind of stuff, and that's the mentality.
I read somewhere somebody had a pond and they grew their own fish
It's
and
possible.
they eat it.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. So it's basically an underground bunker which is quite extensive. It has its own well, it has its own pond. I mean, that's how big it is. Huh? But when I say pond means it's not a big pond, it's just a big fish tank.
Hmm.
and they just like they have a nursery where they keep fast growing fish. They're not keeping koi or something, but they're keeping carps and stuff like that, which grows really fast. And they use their okay, for lack for a better word, they use the shit, they compost, they use it as a compost for their for the things that they grow. All the trash that they do is again as fish food, so it goes on that cycle.
Yeah, that's good use of their waste. Yeah, there's a lot of ingenuity behind it.
Absolutely. I mean, just think about it. Now, in case you go back to your whole within 200-kilometer radius concept, if and we are in Bangalore, do you think is it a good idea head towards your Bandipur and into the forest? Because by default, people won't. It's not the first people place that people will think going to. So you rather go to a far more desolate, weirder place. Is I think would be a far more sensible option.
Yeah, I'm looking for a more desolate place like forest type of area, but I'd like if there was some height also involved with it. So most probably like
I get what Ashish is saying. High ground with a long space for a level killing field and sight plane of point of sight.
With what?
my bow and arrow,
Exactly.
Nerf
which
guns.
I'm making from the forest.
Grape juice pistols, water pistols.
You need weapons now. Without weapons, we gotta apply for
Oh
gun
yeah,
license.
you need weapons
Yeah, it's no way.
because people will
Because
do
of people like
surprising
you.
things to survive.
Yeah, like people like you. I do all the hard work
I
and I'm
won't
like,
do
hey, I'm
shit.
coming there. I'm
I'm,
coming there.
I'm not. If I see that 45-degree incline itself, you don't need any weapons. I won't bother climbing it.
See, that is why I want that inclination. we can cut out 30% of the population who intend to climb.
Oh, here's another idea. You could probably map out all the ancient forts which are around you, because obviously built during with a natural defense, and aim for that as
Yeah,
one of the
good
destinations.
idea.
But I liked Arjun's idea better. I think Arjun's idea is actually a very doable idea, and that's another form of these bunkers which we find, which is mobile bunkers. So there are people who build trucks, right? So the big trucks, and they convert
RVs.
that into, into like a bunker, and they use that like a bunker, which is mobile. But something like what Arjun said is absolutely
Yeah,
even better because you're mobile. You're absolutely like there's a lot of places you can go if you've got a boat, where you can find small islands which you can use. You can stash those islands out in the earlier on itself. And then from a place like India, ideally, we should be finding some place like that, which is easier.
dude, with 75% water, it's best to just stay afloat and mobile
It's
on
safer. I mean,
something
the
on
number of
water.
people who be after you're isolated. So in that way, it's safer. I'm not
Exactly.
worried about running out of water. I'm worried about people. I'm worried about people's mentality. That's what concerns me the most.
Exactly. In a case like this, what we are doing bunkering down, what we're doing protecting ourselves and our family, what we're doing all of this for is basically during this situation, we're protecting ourselves from other people.
Yeah, really, it's more the
No, the
people.
idea is superb, man. I think that's the way to go about it.
In India, I think Arjun, your plan is the best plan. Keep a mobile bunker, and better it is a boat.
Now, now we are settled down saying that okay, the best way to go about this is in India, or in case you are at the coast, right, at the coastal region, ideally have a boat and then head out into the sea. But in case it's a nuclear thing, doesn't matter. I don't think it's too bad. But very important thing, launching a boat, yeah, you might do it, but please learn how to navigate.
I think you gotta get a satellite phone, much up with GPS on it.
I think if we were all billionaires, we just go all out and we just build ourselves a really spoiled brat bunker. But I think just basic primitive
Survival
hunter
skills.
gatherer skills
Yeah.
hunter gatherer skills going forward
I think you made a
would
very good
help
point.
the most.
Forget about the bunker. First, we need to go learn some survival skills. Learn how to start a fire. Get fresh water. Living in the outdoors. I mean, we Indians actually we don't have that mentality or that thing to do the camping. No culture is not there. Like I think little bit some people have tried to catch on to it, but it's not really there. Like how it is.
I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of hardcore campers out there, but
The
as a
minority.
percentage of population who even does it is very minuscule and probably negligible.
Though, you know who has more survival skills in all of this? your laborers were picking up firewood in the evening to go boil their rice and everything. They know exactly what to do, dude. They'll grab a pig off the Sarjapur flyover.
Yeah,
I, s- I swear to God, sometimes I hear pigs squealing and then dogs are
silence.
missing the next day. But yeah.
They're true survivors. They are true survivors.
I mean, just think about it. I mean, are you ready to kill a chicken? It's simple as that.
But I got a live fish once in a packet, and I came home and it was still flapping. I thought it would have died by the time I came home, but it was still flapping. I couldn't kill it. I just couldn't kill it. I mean,
That's because you're a doctor.
no,
That
man. It's
feeling
just
inside
like
you couldn't take a
it's so
life.
difficult to take a life. It's not easy.
It's impossible.
For me, it's very.
It's not impossible, but it's a very, very hard step to do.
Yeah, I couldn't kill it, man.
I was talking to an uncle of mine who was in the army and he was with the para commandos, right? They used to send them into a jungle with a goat for 20 or 30 days. They
No.
have a goat, basic rations, that's it. Now what happens is the rations last for 5, 6 days or 10 days and you're trekking. Now, what happens in 10 days is that you start becoming friends, you're feeding the goat, there's a connection established.
Yeah.
But so then you start foraging. By the 20th day, there's no more food left, there's nothing more to forage. And you're just stuck with this goat which you have built a bond with.
Ooh.
And then you have to kill it because it's survival. So it is far more mental than anything else, overcoming that and pushing yourself to that limit, saying that, you know what, my survival is all that matters. So
Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's a tough thing to do, man. Really.
that's a toughie.
But yeah, I think once you're pushed to the corner, you have to survive. You know, all your social skills, everything goes out, man. I don't mind eating meat. I have no issues with it, but taking the life, yeah,
Oh, I have no
yeah, I
issues.
have no issues.
It's strange what these kind of pandemics or these kind of situations which we normally haven't faced, your perspective changes, the way you think changes, right? We wouldn't have normally spoken about this topic, but or it would have been a very small circle, but this particular topic right now is appealing to far more wider audience because everybody has felt that pinch.
Yeah,
What if? It's no longer being paranoid, it's about being prepared.
yeah, bro.
We're not trying to scare you, but it is to sensitize you to what this particular situation can or could be. Now, are you prepared or not?
No, everybody went
Is the
into
question.
hoarders mode within the first week of the pandemic coming here and the lockdown coming up.
Yes,
Everybody went into an hoarders zone, and so that itself is pretty much pretty into what could happen if we lose. But the great part is we at least had 3 months of supplies, which the government was saying that we do have. Don't worry, 3 months of supplies is there.
exactly. So, what if it wasn't there? If the government failed, let's say the government failed, there was no more electricity, there was no more milk for your morning tea, there's no more medicines, there is no more food supply, right? Everything is gone. There is no law and order. And even more scarier, there is no internet. I'm saying telecommunications is down. There is no internet. You cannot Google how to survive this pandemic.
Yes.
What is happening?
If
You have no
if
clue.
that happened, where there's a blackout and you have no information
Yes,
reaching you, you don't even know whether to stay in this house or go outside the house. Where do you go? What do you do? You need to think about that right now.
exactly. You need to plan it out. You need to sketch your to probably even 8, 10 contingency plan. Now, if I go towards north and there's some issue, what is my next plan? What is plan B? What's plan C? What's plan D? What's plan K? Probably. And that is the way we need to think. Listen, guys, I would like to highlight the point. We're not trying to scare you. We are not trying to create any kind of unrest, or I think the government has done a fabulous job. And these are really extreme, extreme scenarios. I or we certainly feel that it's better to be prepared than be sorry later. At least inkling around your mind so that you guys start thinking from these perspectives. We do not have the answers. You may have, but start thinking, figure it out.
Yeah, I'm open to like some great ideas. I think, or just speaking to Arjun now, he gave me a better idea than what I was thinking, And yeah, it's probably nice to think
Absolutely.
about a mobile bunker than to think about some place which you put down. So yeah, so probably somebody who's listening in could give us a better idea of doing it with much less resources and which is cost effective, and work out some of the tweaks.
And we would love to listen to what you guys have to say about this. Reach out to us on our Instagram or on Twitter or on Facebook. We will put our social media accounts in the show notes.
I think just to wrap it up going forth, I think priorities have changed. No, we were all looking at our lives and planning out vacations and homes eventually to retire in and education. Yeah, all that should still be priority, but I think we need to smarten up a bit in terms of survival skills. Do we really not know what to do when we're out there in the wild? Can we feed ourselves? Can we shelter ourselves? And can we look after the ones that we care about? And do we know enough kung fu?
Kung Fu fighting,
Everybody knows kung fu fighting.
expert
Yeah,
timing.
I agree with you, Arjun. Well put.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for listening to The Odd Couple. That was just another show on the Doomsday Preppers. Do check out our Instagram handle, our Twitter, as well as Facebook, which will be in our show notes. Tune in the next week, and we should be hopefully discussing a slightly less morbid topic. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys.